YouTube, what is up guys? So it is question and answer time. I asked you guys to ask me some questions, and you did so on Facebook, and now I'm going to go through them and answer a handful of them. There are over 1,300 questions, so I'm gonna try to get the ones that a lot of people are asking, but I'm sorry, I will not be able to answer over 1,300 questions. But let's begin. Pete Taylor asks, what are your views on Richie Jackson thinking varial flips are like bad, or as others think, gay? Pete, Richie was actually joking with that video. He's kind of making fun of, basically everything on his show is kind of making fun of something in some way, and he pretty much thinks that, you know, whatever skateboard trick you want to do what you want. Like, there's no stupid trick in skateboarding. Some people might think varial flips are dumb. I personally think they're cool. I will, next time I hang out with Richie, I'll ask him what he personally thinks, but Richie Jackson doesn't actually hate on people that do varial flips, I promise. Billy Andrews asks, will you ever come overseas to skate like Australia? And yes, Basquith is in Australia, so dude, I've been telling that dude I'm gonna show up at his park randomly without him knowing for like years now. So yes, I will one day skate Australia. That's definitely a goal. DJ Arnold says Shaka Badao. Yes, DJ Arnold. I like to see that type of stuff. Thumbs up for inside jokes from high school. Carrie Elliott says, do you miss working at Olive Garden? And yeah, I don't miss working at Olive Garden. A lot of people don't know, but I worked at Olive Garden like during the early stages of my channel, and I definitely don't miss working at it, but I miss the people like Carrie. It was an awesome group of people to work with, and it was like a family, so I miss that aspect. But serving tables, really glad that's done with. Cameron Kearney says, do you like Taco Bell? And as far as fast food goes, Taco Bell is one of the few that I can do. You know, there's some things that I can eat where I'm like, I'm not eating something horrible. But, so yeah, Taco Bell's alright. I can do that. Ted Condon says, how do you get the balls to do handrails that big? If I saw Hollywood High, I would poop a brick and go home. Well, you work your way up. Like, I've been out of the handrail game for a while, so I would really like to warm up on like an 8-stair before hitting like a bigger rail. And it's more of a mind game with rails. Like, you know, do your park rails and then find like a good 7 or 8 stair, and then work up to a 10, and then you just do steps up to it. And I was skating the Hollywood 12 a few weekends in a row, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do the 16. So I skated the 12, I warmed up on it, and then I just tried the 16. It was horrifying, but you know, I ended up landing it, and I unfortunately never touched it after that board slide. But you just work your way up to it. You know, you gotta find the next step up. Sam Templeman says, do you think the team will travel across the states? If so, where will you travel? You know what, honestly, we're trying to this year. I really need to get it organized so you can do something. We will be in California at the end of the year, that's for sure. But I want to do like a West Coast, East Coast thing, like where we go from like Texas, like across the southern part of the states, and then up California, and then like we'll take a break, and then we'll go over to the East Coast and like go from like New York down to Florida. So that'd be cool, and then maybe like try to fill in some gaps in the center of the country. But it takes a lot of planning, and my life is just so crazy right now. I actually need to bring on more people working Revive, like the actual business part of it, so I can kind of do more stuff like that. But yes, it's going to happen one day, I promise. Cole Roman says, what was your first deck, if you remember? And it was a Hookups Charlie's Angel spoof. I do remember. I do remember, Cole. Dave Robinson says, the new Transformers movie or Godzilla? Godzilla, all the way. I think they're overdoing Transformers, personally. Like 4. Very seldomly a movie needs to be on the 4th one. But Godzilla's good. Pretty good. It's pretty good. Have you had this? Billy Britton asks, how old were you when you started skating? I was 14 years old, which to me is kind of late. You know, obviously there's no age where like you should or shouldn't skate. Like no matter what age you are, if you want to skate, skate and have fun. But like when I see like 12-year-olds out there like killing it, I'm like, man, I wish I would have started that early. 14, that's the answer though. Danny Burge says, were you ever in a serious relationship before you met your wife? And yes, I pretty much have been in all serious relationships. Like I've only kissed 7 girls in my entire life. And I'm not one of those dudes. I'm not one of those dudes who's just like, oh yeah, hey, I'll meet you and then not have anything to do with you like later on. But the only one that really mattered was my wife, so I don't really care. But to answer it, yes, I was. Sean Peckham says, what one song gets you most pumped? State of the Union, Rise Against. I could punch myself in the face during that song and I'd be like, this is great, I'm going to do it again. Jason Nagurski says, when you launch your wheel company, will you have a new team or will you use the Revive team? And it will be a separate team for sure. It's going to be a separate company entirely in a sense. It's a separate brand entirely, so definitely a different team. Some of the guys from Revive will of course be on it, but not all of us. Joseph Blackhall, did you personally know all the people in Revive team before they joined? Yes. The only person I didn't like really know was Josh, but I had communicated with him online and I'd watched his videos and I kind of knew who he was. But no one gets on Revive just by like, hey, can I be on? Like, oh, okay. Like, it's a family, so like, anybody that gets on, like, everybody on the team is cool with, and it's like sort of like, yeah, you know, you're one of us. So it's a group of friends that are kind of like a family at the same time, and if they share the same vibe and passion for skateboarding, that's really what it is. Matt DeHaas says, there's a reason your style is so bad, and I definitely don't try to be anything more than I am. So I skate, and I want my skating to come across how it's supposed to look, like just how I skate. I'm not going to try to fake anything or make it look a certain way. Like, I want my skating to be what it is, and I'm sorry you don't like that. I kind of look like a cowboy when I skate, but if you don't like that, don't watch my vids, or don't watch me in my vids. I don't know. Close your eyes when I'm on the screen. Nate Boulanger says, have you ever been out of Ohio to skate, besides California or Pennsylvania? And absolutely. I've been to New York, Washington, D.C., Arizona, I mean, Kentucky, Indiana, of course, Atlanta, Florida, Tennessee, Alabama, like, just the list goes on. I've been, like, a lot of parts of this country and skateboarded. Leah Faye Kebble says, what is the cutest / funniest thing Ryden has done? That is a tough one. I'm going to think about this. I don't know if this is possible. Like, I really don't. Like, today, he just walked up to me and he was like, Dad. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, I love you. And I was like, I love you too. And that was adorable. Or the times he just runs up and hugs me for no reason. Those are probably the times that, like, really hit me. Like, oh my gosh, I just want to never leave your side. It's the best thing that's ever happened to me. But my wife just pointed out something that's pretty funny. That she walked in and he was sitting there in the morning, like 8:30 a.m. He had his lotion out and his toy dinosaurs, and he was putting lotion on the dinosaurs as if they needed it. That's up there. That's up there. Flynn Blakemore Carslake says, if you didn't skateboard, what would you do? And that is tough. I probably would be doing something in the world of either video games, like designing them. That was always like I'm so passionate about video games, even though I don't have time for them anymore. Maybe I'd be more a successful writer. Who knows? Or I might still be doing video. I really like working with video. I went to school for it, then I oddly enough changed my degree. But I love doing it, so I'd still be making goofy videos, hopefully, I like to think. But life without skateboarding, that'd be weird. Edgar Villa has a good question. I'm sorry if I've ever answered this. I don't remember answering it, but get off the screen, Facebook. But he says, if you had the opportunity to obtain one superpower, that was perfect. No! Where do you go? Oh, that was so good. We're going with it. We're going. To obtain one superpower, what would it be? I've thought well about this, okay? It's either to stop time, because that would be fantastic. And if I couldn't stop time, like for whatever reason, well, if I'm guessing, I really should be able to pick anything. But my backup plan would be to be invisible. Pretty awesome. Flying, really hard to resist, you know, all that stuff. But so being able to stop time, you can like do anything you want. That's it. That's my story. Get off the screen, Facebook. Get this stuff off my face. Screen. Callum Fairbrother says, has there ever been a time where you have chosen skateboarding over a relationship? Girlfriend. And no, because I'm a firm believer if you're with someone, they're gonna love you for who you are, and if something makes you happy, like skateboarding, they're not gonna want to be like, hey, you're skating too much. So no, I've always balanced my time. So you always make time for what's important, including your girlfriend. Or, wife, of course, and then you have time for skateboarding as well. And I would never be with a person who, wants me to, hey, you do this or that too much. It's like, this is just, I feel like that shouldn't be an issue in a true relationship. And with that said, don't neglect your loved ones, if for a girlfriend or wife or whatever, or brother, sister, father, make sure you spend time with the people you love, because that's really what matters in life. You knew I was going to get cheesy at some point in this video, didn't you? Didn't you? Facebook's on my face, gosh! But I'm going to end it there, guys. Hope you guys dug this. Hope you guys learned something that you wanted to. I will try to do this again next month. And I like to try to do this once a month, but sometimes my life is crazy, and I don't have time to sit down and actually do all this and ask the question beforehand. And I just kind of suck at doing this sometimes, so I'm sorry. But if you want to get in on it next time, the URL to my Facebook is right here on the screen. And give me a like. And then what I do is I just put a post saying, hey, ask me questions, and that's when I go through them. So I hope you guys dug it, and I'll be back in the future. And that's it. That's it. That was on my hand. You couldn't really see it, but either way, it was stupid.